G'day everybody there at Gate. Hope you've had a fantastic day or started the day. It's been an interesting day, and let's have a look at Bitcoin. Now, what I'm doing here, ladies and gentlemen, is going back through the list that I made on the scan yesterday. And there's an important message in this. The reason I do a full scan is so I don't have to continue to go back to it all the time. Now, it's only been 14 hours or so since that list was made. So probably the smallest amount of time, also the longest amount of time, I'd leave it without doing another scan. But for the purpose of giving a video and showing you how I do create the list and then go on to trade from the list, here's what we're doing. In here, we're looking at Bitcoin, of course. It has a higher low and a higher high. A couple, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. It's been strong. Look at it here on the daily chart as well, and you'll see that we closed up at a new high for 2020. Will we see that push on? Hey, there's no reason not to. We are seeing breaks of highs. We are seeing each time it pulls back, it's bought up. It's going to be a very interesting remainder of the week because as it stands, the week's looking pretty good now. Could we be at 15,000 by the end of the week? Absolutely. Yeah, it's really not off the cards at all. Could we be at 12,500 by the end of the week? That's also on the cards. So it has got further upside, but it also will need to pull back at some point, as you can see here on the weekly. Let's just remember, though, this isn't a big move for Bitcoin. This is a following of trend. This is a nice move. It's one that's been very welcomed and pushed through some very, very interesting levels. And the expectation is for higher moves. But it doesn't always go straight up in the air. Let's see how we go and see what we've got as we go throughout the day. Now, my attention is going to be on the lower time frames on Bitcoin today. What I'd like to see is a push higher and then a pull back in. When we get those little pullbacks into those cradle zones like I've taught on that course, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to get in there, get the pullbacks, get the cradle trades on. The Bitcoin chart today, if we can just push on to some new highs, get through this 14,240 level, I think we can see some great opportunities. So keep your eye on Bitcoin today on those lower time frames. On to EOS next. Of course, it has been in a downtrend, and I've been watching EOS on both the 4 hour and the 8 hour. The 4 hour right now, as you see here, is a higher low, and if it breaks up through here, we'll have a higher high, which is not really akin to the sort of market I want to be shorting. With that being said, when we look at this 8 hour, it's not so bad. I am going to leave it in the list, but it's got a fair bit more work to do to pull back up into that cradle zone. Uni is down 9%, as you can see here. A stellar move lower, and we talked about this level in here yesterday. Look, it's still on my radar. The trend's still great. Let me just get rid of that for a second. The trend is still really, really nice. Look, lower low, lower high, lower low. I'd love to see a little pullback in a little bit further. At the moment, that was an opportunity there that I wasn't around for. It did move away. That was at midnight. Hopefully some of you did get that and you've made your profits this morning already, but it's really the 4 hour that I'm focused on here as I'm looking for a pullback into this region here. Still very much the same as something we looked at last night. On a BSV, again, a higher low. If it does break high, we'll have a higher high. The 8 hour once more. Look, the level that I'm looking at here is really 155. Let's go in here and just mark that in around that region. It does have a higher low. Actually, you know what? There's a higher low there. I'm going to eliminate that. It doesn't fit the rules for a good trend. So quite simply, I'll get rid of it. This is a great trend down too. Look at sushi. It's just falling. Sushi train? Falling like a train? No, it doesn't really work, does it? Sorry, I'm a dad. I have dad jokes, and sometimes they're horrific. And that was one of those times. A little bearish candle right there. Maybe you're looking to trade that. I don't know. Good convergence. I'm going to keep that in the list because there could be multiple opportunities for entry. I love the little pullback up here as well. Zcash, let's check that out right now as it stands. Oh, we're climbing. Let's try that 4. Are we back? We are. Look at that. Bearish candle right there in that cradle zone on that 4 hour. The 8 hours in a great spot as well. That needs to be stuck to and followed and watched throughout the day as far as I'm concerned. Beam, that level up into here is still very valid. I'm not so much looking at the 4, I don't believe. Oh, hang on a second. Yeah, if it pulled back a little bit deeper, I'd be very keen on that. The 4 and the 8, both of these trends still very valid and both worth keeping an eye on. Finally, onto SRM. Right here, this trend has been an absolute doozy, rolling over, falling well. Look at that little, oh my goodness, hang on. Look at that. Go through your rules. If you haven't got the rules, go to TraderCobb.com and go and get them. Little bearish candle right there. in a downtrend with convergence, and the 8-hour also looking very, very nice. Now, sure, if it doesn't break lower, a pullback up in deeper could be very much on the cards, but geez, it's a great trend, and that is a beautiful little bearish candle. Guys, have a fantastic day. I hope you're going well. The election's still being counted, or the votes, sorry, are still being counted. It'll be interesting to see if our market, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, has any upside or potential downside. It shouldn't have too much of either, but we just don't know. It's an unknown. Trade safely, trade well, trade to the rules, and go to TraderCobb.com now. Have a great day.